little deck, but it's very businessy. So you
Nice.
can like, you couldn't be the first ones actually. Like, I haven't presented it to anyone. 1 second. Give me a second.
Flo, so good to see you live. I haven't seen you live.
Good to see you too.
I only spoke with
Been
you
a
live
minute.
recently. Yeah.
It was nice to meet up. I'm in the parking lot of the company that I work for.
Oh, cool.
And it's a giant chemical factory, which is like totally opposite. But
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of people are kind of in between. We're all in between, we wearing different hats. Oh my God, look
we're
at you.
wearing different hats. So
Are you, where is this, in Brooklyn? Where is this?
No, it's in Houston, Texas.
Oh, you're in Houston.
But what's really cool is that it's a totally new technology that they've created, where they've created a chemical factory that has no smokestacks and no wastewater, and all the chemicals that they make are based from plants. So they make ingredients that are then used for like Clorox and bleach and blah blah blah, but they make it based off of like cornstarch and stuff, which is significantly better for the environment.
Wow.
So I figured out some way to make it work for myself.
Yeah, I think more and more of these like really great technology is going to be coming out. Like, people finally get into the place of like, how can we be innovative and at the same time, yeah. So, 1 second, I have my deck open and I want to open this too, but I'll open it later. Where I am and vision. So, all right, let me share. So I'll just give you like a little like ground into like the logo branding art. I did some boards since we were talking on Pinterest too, so I shared those links. So Be Light Wellness NYC, we might lose wellness. I don't know as the word. Natalia, I do hear you. Yeah, with the name. I've been going in so many circles with the name, but Be Light as the word like really resonates with me, because I've been operating under this Be Light Living umbrella and vision for many years, and it feels like it's just another manifestation, but now from ethereal and spiritual to like real difference. And so the concept is that we know the problem, right? The problem slide is that we all bombarded with like EMFs, poor quality air, and just like New York, for instance, like full of stress, all of these things, and people are not having enough kind of places, sacred spaces to unwind. And unfortunately, like assemblage in other places no longer available. So at the same time, really how this technology came to my awareness is my husband. He had like mold issues, and he has himself like a lot of various, immunity issues. Some people like, cancer, all these issues, especially now with vaccination, like everything is just people are dying, right? Things are just getting worse and worse. And in the city alone, in New York, there's like, 20 million people, like how many of them got vaccine, and we don't know what's happening. And there's like the other space besides assemblage that was really sacred was Frequency Dome.
Yeah.
They did breath work, and now one has closed recently.
It's just closed as well. Oh.
Yeah. From what I've heard, I don't know how true that is. But the biggest issue underlying all of these diseases is mitochondrial dysfunction. So if you know anything about the cell, so within the cell, we have like different organelles, and mitochondria is the most important organelle that actually produces ATP, which is energy for the rest of the body. So in order for all these diseases to go away, if you fix your mitochondria, really, your body is the technology. So it starts like realigning itself, cancer, all of that. But the problem is, especially like during COVID, people like sitting at home, did not get in sunlight, like the mitochondrial dysfunction that's been happening in the population is ridiculous. And my husband, because he has immunity issues, like, been going in circles for like, over a decade. And it all boiled down to mitochondria. And now there's more and more science coming around it, like mitochondrial support and this and that. So all these degenerative illnesses, but also immunity illnesses in regards to this. So and there's different herbs you can take. There's yoga classes you can do, but there's no real like holistic approach of how to tackle mitochondria specifically. Like how do we? So if we think of ourselves as, I always say like we like a cell phone. We have an electrical body, really. Like we have all this electricity running through our body, but because of our emotional traumas, mitochondrial dysfunction, this, that, like we are blocked. And so when our phones, operate in best capacities, when they fully charge at 100%, and we have to keep on going and like, charging them up. Like you have to plug in somewhere and like have the battery charge up. But do we really do that as human beings? Yeah, sometimes we go to nature, like we rest, we allow natural processes to happen to plug in. But when you're in a city, especially, or just in general, sometimes nature is just not enough when we don't spend enough time there to get that cellular support for the mitochondria specifically to work. So for someone who has cancer, for instance, you know how like sometimes your phone, when it goes into that red zone, like when it's 20% and less. So someone who has cancer is usually operating for 20% or less. So like I'll talk about this technology, but we also developing our own technology. It's just, Natalia, we're not there yet. So we'll be sneaking it into the center for sure. It's
Okay,
just,
cool.
yeah, this technology has a marketing umbrella, it has a business plan. That's the reason why we're going with it. But we created personal arrays. So I'll tell you, kind of similar to the light you showed, but it's much more sophisticated than that. And I brought one, for instance, to my friend on Christmas, and she is stage 4 brain cancer. I mean, life force 15%. And I was like, you sit in this field. And she's like, for how long? And I was like trying to explain it because people like really have hard time understanding. Like, so I like always go back to that analogy of the phone and the battery. And I think in that mind, people like, it's like battery charging station kind of thing. Like, how do I else explain to this, regular people about it? And I'm like, and she's like, how long should it be? I'm like, you should be sleeping and you should be in it all the time. You at 15%. I mean, she, yeah, she doesn't. Hopefully this helps. Because this has been interesting journey because not only this technology helped Daniel, but since this technology came into our field, and the woman created it like 30 years ago. She's a biophysicist. I've talked to her. I know her. She lives in Hawaii. She's Kahuna. So she stepped in. She speaks light language too. So she's kind of infused different worlds into this technology and it evolved. I know the screens are not ideal either. We already, like I said, we already evolved it to the next level, but we also kind of hide in it because of the different rights and whatever, it's fine. But we, um, and so the solution here is what we're planning to do is use this technology, which is called energy enhancement system, and this woman, Dr. Sandra Rose, and essentially it's a space that I want. In my vision, I see it as a convertible space. In an ideal world, it would be really nice leather chairs, but I don't know if I can find leather chairs that fold because honestly, at the end of the day, maybe some Fridays and Saturdays I'll have ceremonies there or some like, it will be that gathering like, space of like, you know, the soul family. Like I do see it as a convertible space that can use mostly to do sessions with people like as main primary business to pay for the bills and help people, but also more than that, right? This is where I already like met incredible people who do sound healing and light language, and like I have like a list of people that I'm like, I see you in my space, I see you in my space doing some amazing events, right? So it's not going to be big, it's going to be like 3,000 square feet is what like I can afford with the budget. So I'm like operating on a small budget, and I am looking for another investor right now. So, but the technology is what has the marketing network already built in. This woman had this technology for a while, but the last, I'll send you guys a YouTube video. Last 8 months, this guy, Jason Shurka, did a YouTube video on her, and Jason Shurka is apparently like influencer in the spiritual community. And since that video went live on YouTube on his channel, like everyone found out about it and they went crazy. So 200 centers opened around the world, like in the last 8 months. So if like I'm waiting for this technology for like 6, 7 months now to just even get it as an installation, which is fine. It's like in divine flow. Um, so just kind of to give you an idea, this is going to be the primary thing, but I still visualize like a room there separate from the main room where I will have a massage table, and I will have someone doing like maybe biotuning with the forks or some other wellness or whatever we want to call it, like other alignment, energy alignment type of things.
Good.
Because
But this looks
this
like
is nice, but I feel sometimes like you need that individual attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this technology, so what it does essentially, in the room, there's like columns and these TVs run. So each TV is on a different frequency band, and it emits, because it emits different frequencies. She also has a specific program that a lot of it has like light codes and some DNA stuff put in. But Daniel and I have been downloading other things that could be put in the program, and when it runs, it creates this massive scalar field. So even our technology, I mean, we're trying to like replicate, and we're close to it. So it creates a scalar field. So if you know anything about scalar waves, so essentially it's waves in nature, like the pyramids, right? So in the old days, the pyramids were never used for living in them. They were actually temples of light, where you go in for activation, where you chant, where scalar is very energy is very present, and that's where they had these amazing, like the priests and priestesses had this amazing experience, otherworldly experiences, and all the things they did in the pyramids, and essentially it was the pyramids themselves, because of the limestone and their structure and how they were set up, were able naturally to create that scalar field. Dr. Michael actually, she didn't just like pull it out of nowhere. This information was given to her. She told me the Andromedans gave it to her, of how to build this technology. So, and it was really interesting because I met her like 2 years ago, a little more than that. At the time, I wasn't connected to Andromedan energy that much, and today I am so much more so. And so it resonates, knowing though that we can improve it and do amazing things. More than that, when you have this massive scalar field, it is a beacon of light. So it affects 2 miles radius. So not only you as a person come in and your cells start vibrate, and when you, especially in theta, and you relax and your mitochondria start working, like I've been in this field many times, like your feet start tingling and all of that, and so you're supposed to drink a lot of water and like charged water. Amazing effects happening, detoxification of your system. I mean, amazing results. They even brought pets in there, like people with all kinds of things been coming to the center. But for me, it's not even about the individuals themselves. It's what it can do in the radius. But more so, it will affect really the whole island. And I saw her at Christmas. It was a holiday party. Dr. Michael came from Hawaii here, and I talked to her about it. And she like looked at me and she's like, yeah, she's like, only warriors will go into Manhattan. And I'm like, I know. Because we started with Brooklyn, as you know, Natalia, I told you. And then we like now pivoted to Manhattan.
Yay.
So what's been coming through, so I was been working on the space for like months and months, very hard to find commercial spaces. And it fell through, to 2 weeks ago, and so I'm restarting. And so it's interesting. It's actually good. Like there's various reasons why that location or that space wasn't working. And I did a Akashic reading with someone, but I already received that information. She just validated. And what I kept on hearing, base camp is the word that kept on coming in all the ceremonies. The other base camp is like the fun, you know, and in Akashic records, April said, she's like, oh, well, you know what? It's going to be a base camp. She's like, we're going into the recession and it's going to be really dark times. Like you're literally going to be in the belly of the beast, and it's going to be like the light, the beacon of light, like illuminated everything that's happening. And she's like, yeah, I see like gatherings, things like that. And she said, yeah, solar plexus, she confirmed. And so Manhattan also has chakras, right? And so Midtown is definitely solar plexus. And because of the the financial collapse and all the things that are going to be happening, people like the solar plexus is the first place that gets really disbalanced. And so more so you're supposed to sit in solar plexus because it's like you exuding power. Um, so that's kind of in a nutshell about it. And so yeah, I've been on this journey with this logo, but thank you, because I think all our conversations, like, so I started, like, as I told you, Natalia, like, thinking about the design, and I went and looked at the pictures of assemblage that I love so much. And it's also like, yeah, like, I am coming back to this, to what, like, Alizarin created versus to like, oh yeah, minimalistic. I think minimalistic style is probably the way to go. I really resonate with the gold color. It might be like kind of like how assemblage had its sign, which is like actually like dark gray charcoal and like gold on it. But anyway, different versions. But I did put in a telegram, like start kind of seeing the pyramid and maybe like some sort of sun in the middle and maybe some waves because it's scalar waves. And no person, I agree with you, Natalia, like, thank you, you helped me with that, because I was like, do I need this person? Like just didn't feel it's about the person anymore. It's really bigger vision, bigger mission. And what's interesting too, like April said as well, like it's gonna be, she said the other space wanted 5-year lease, but they even reneged on that. She's like, I see you only signing a lease for 3 years because whatever, we don't know what's going to happen. But what was coming in ceremonies, it was like this divine attention. Like it's needed at this time, whether it's temporary. You know, assemblage was temporary too, but what magic it did and how long it was existing, also like 3
Like
years.
three
How much
years,
work,
yeah, yeah.
how much, I think there's something about the three, how much work Magdalena has put into that magic, right?
She
But
put
she
blood
then
in there. She told me the secret.
she did. And so for me, it's like I'm in preservation too. So I'm like, I wanted the most beautiful, incredible space, but I'm operating a very different budget than Magdalena did. So how do I still preserve the beauty? And yet at the same time, knowing that this is going to be most likely temporary location, but it will help. It will shift some sort of earthly grid and have a way it's supposed to. And and from there I'll figure out. I asked April, I don't see the flood, Natalia. April didn't see the flood either. But maybe it's because the timelines right now are so like they're not stable anyway. So it's like things can change and honestly and I do see like
They're
amplified.
hiding it so much because it's in this secret laboratories, and they're really protecting this information so deeply that not all the psychics can go. That's very it's just
Perhaps.
comes to me in waves as well, and I remember I always share with you when it comes to me. I always say,
Yeah,
hey,
no, I know. It's always there. It's looming for sure. I'm not discard. I'm not saying no. And I'm telling you this journey. Like I was supposed to have a 5-year lease. Wasn't super comfortable with it, and
no, but
now
3 years sounds good. Sounds really
this.
good.
But then the space just kicked us out. So it was all meant to be the way it means to be.
And can you tell me
And
where the space was, the initial space?
it was like the space was like too good to be true, honestly. For the price, it was on 21st Street between, right next to like I think it was between Flatiron and Union Square. It was like you could walk to Flatiron right
Right.
there, and it's like my ideal space because I love that area. But maybe we're not supposed to be there. It was kind of solar plexus, but not quite. It was like on the border, but then the building itself had some weird landlords and they were just acting really weird, and I kept on like getting energetic resistance all the time through the whole process. But also like even at the end, I got like pinged in my belly right
Okay.
before I got the news. So it was, and then actually like April also looked into it, and she said it was like I was protected because it would have been really bad if I went into the space. They might even sell the building. Who knows? Like, because a lot of
Right.
the spaces there were like kind of open. But
You are
anyway,
you planning?
all
Are you
for the best.
envisioning first floor or any floor?
I don't think it's going to be first floor. I'm working with the budget. I actually this was on the eighth floor. I actually the way I feel it, it's like it's a hidden gem. Like no one really knows about it unless you really know about it. And when you know about it, like it's somewhere tucked away in the back. It's quiet. That's like one of my requirements. Next, I have the bathrooms nearby because people will be drinking a lot of water, and the crystallization, all that happens with the water, and we activate the water. Like it's important for them to drink a lot of it, but it's tucked in the back, and so it's a jam hidden. For those who need to know, will come like, and it will clock because all the other places that I know, like they booked out already anyway. So yeah, and no one, and we got first rights to Manhattan. So that's the beauty, like, because no one is really there right now, and I don't think
I
I
know
think
what you
people are
mean.
scared. People are scared. People are scared. I mean, it's a lot of hoops to even like get into with the commercial real estate and things like that. But I've been talking to Michelle Mades. Do you know Michelle
No, I don't
Mady?
think so. Who's she?
He's abroad.
Cool.
It's so interesting. He came up, but I'm talking to his agent, and the guy's like mellow, but I really like his energy. And I've been told like work with also like, so I'm still working with my guy, but I felt like I need a new energy, and this guy feels good too. So 3 months I have my vision. I want to open like by June 1st, and so we'll see how it all um, happens. And but really kind of little, time flies really
It's
fast.
happening. I have very good visions around what you're doing. That's why I got so passionate and so real. Usually, when I'm so real, it's usually like
I
some crypto
know.
project or something.
And I feel the TVs. I hear you about the TVs, but I've been in that space. Like the TVs, you don't feel the TVs the same way as you would like a
Okay.
computer or anything like that anywhere else, because there's no blue light. They just literally, it's like a kaleidoscope of code. Like when you look at it, it's and the way they run, it's like a DNA like running. It's really hard to explain. It's like different colors each TV screen, so you don't
That's what
you
NFTs look
don't
like too.
receive it in a way that like that's difficult on your eyes. Plus, I mean, really, ideally, you like close your eyes. So have people maybe have
Okay.
masks, and then you relax. So you're just in the field. So it's not about looking at the TV at all. You actually want to be completely like not looking, and just in like having like really nice
And
music.
I definitely strongly feel that it should be on the floor, lying on the floor, not on the benches. What do you think? Or there is a
It's
reason behind the elevation?
Yeah, yeah. I have to do with and these chairs crap too. Like if I want the foldable chairs, not great, but you can because I'll have people different ages. They can't. Not everyone can be on the floor. That's the
I
problem.
see. But we can
What
have
about
options because I know
what
if I
about like
enter, I would be like, no, I'll be on the floor. I'll just.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean
depends on how big I can find the right space and where I can maybe have like a corner or a space where people can be on the floor if they want to, and others on yeah, these chairs. Ideally, I want these really nice chairs that cost like $3,000 each. Like I found these incredible ones, but the problem with them is that they don't fold. And I'm like thinking, how do I convert the space into also doing this other off-hour things? So this is where it's like the compromise because
Bean
they're not
bags.
pretty. Huh?
Bean
Beanbags.
bags.
Yeah.
what it could be, can I speak for a minute? What it could be would just be like really big pillows, and people can stack pillows until they're comfortable. And like it's like if you have just like a modular experience where each person gets their like custom made chair just for their body.
Yeah, let's talk about it because I'm definitely not happy about all these chairs that they use in other centers. I'm like, that's one stickler for me. So I'm like trying to figure out how do I make it like universal for everyone, and at the same time it's comfortable. Um, so my idea, like if I were just sticking with these reclining chairs, it would be like the room has to be big enough to fit at least like 20 of them. But yeah, it's yeah, this chair situation is real. Like that's one thing I haven't figured out, like how to make it um accessible for everyone, and in a way that they can relax and fall asleep, because really if you fall asleep, that's the best, because when you in theta or delta, like the way it activates your mitochondria is like works the best based on all the science. Yeah, so that's definitely something to think about. So yeah, so I go back to the logo now, and I'm like, and the branding. Yeah, so I guess the kind of what I showed in the sketches I tried to do is like, I think I'm coming back to the idea of the pyramid of sorts, and some sort of solar plexus representation, and some sort of scalar wave representations. Um, and yeah, and I think minimalistic styles, like, not all these like rainbow colors that Alazarian created. I feel I want to come back to like the basic kind of like assemblage way of like the charcoal, the brown, the gold. The gold feels like really nice for me. Like I just love the gold. Yeah, like all this like things we discussed. And stylish enough for New York, right? With all the, I was looking at all the spas that they have, and like they look chic, So you definitely want some sort of
What's in the rest
chic.
of your presentation, just to know what we're missing?
Oh, not much. It's just like cool. The team,
Can you show us the
um,
people? Oh, Daniel's here! Yeah!
Daniel, myself, Jeffrey.
Daniel!
Jeffrey has a space, right? So Jeffrey is one of my key business partners. He opened the first center during pandemic in Verona, New Jersey, which is not too far away, and it's a 7 people chair little room, and it's been so busy since that video came out with Jason Shuka that he actually is about to open another center right next to our house in Livingston, which is I thought it was like hilarious from all the places that he found a space near us. And so he's been a great ally because he like knows everyone in the and he also does young living, so he is super like connected, and so he's place called Full Spectrum International. So he's a business partner, but not like super like active. Like I talk to them, but they kind of looking at me to do everything because he's so busy with his own project anyway, and I don't see him ever going to Manhattan. Honestly, it's just too much for him with everything he has running. Um, but I'm learning. We like been learning from them and his experience, like having an office manager that he can rely on, having all these other people who like supporting like this staff that needs to be there. It's an operation, it's like, and setting it up. So I'm gonna be looking for him for like assistance on that. Lisa is an amazing naturopathic doctor. She's actually the one who helped Daniel. This is how this whole thing started. Daniel was in really bad shape, and I was at the women's circle, and I was asking for help, and someone mentioned Lisa, and I talked to her on the phone, and because I told them, I'm like, I need a shaman, I need a doctor, I need a person who like super intuitive. It's that she does family constellations. She's like super psychic, and so she helped Daniel tremendously. And after like 6 months working with him, she's the one who told him about the center, and she knows Jeffrey well. So it was like a natural, combination because we like all became friends too. And again, she has her own business going as well. So she's more, she consults, but she wouldn't be super like managing. I think managing is mostly me and Danielle, which means mostly me.
Why? Why do you think so?
Daniel has a very busy job. He's barely he's executive level, so his job keeps him really busy, and I just don't think he's just here and there, but I just see how he's like, it's just maybe it's just what's happening right now. Like he just started 2 months ago, So he's just like overwhelmed with everything he has on a plate right now.
New
But
job
it's
for
just,
Daniel. Cool. I'm happy for
yeah,
him. And
yeah, no,
but do you
it's
think
been very.
like you can, or like if you can, with this business you can take him out of his full-time job into, I just like on the Save Daniel from the corporate world project.
He's very happy where he
Okay,
is.
cool. Good.
He is an executive level. We use manifestation formula to
Okay.
get this job. I
Awesome.
mean, and it worked like magic. Can I just tell you, like
Tell me.
manifestation formulas work? And this is the first time I applied it. Like I like taught him how to do it, and I held the container for him to do it, and it was like a month and a half, and he found like exactly what we put as the qualities, which is amazing people who in high EQ, and they all high EQ. It's not in a city, it's on the Jersey Shore. He's right by the water. We love this town. So we activated the anniversary, Osbury, Jersey Shore, and it's like, oh my God, and he's there only twice a week. He's working from home and people, everyone on his team loves him. It's just like, I see how happy he is and people like really look up to him. And so it's a nice, I feel like it's a good, and it's a solar energy. So we're back to, it's all about solar. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
cool. I'm
yeah,
happy
it's,
for him.
I think he's good
Send
where
send
he is
him good
now.
regards from me. Congratulations on manifesting. That comfort position in the
I
world
mean,
of web of
it's
the world of
comfort,
3D.
but comfort by challenge. There's a lot
Okay,
of
good.
challenge in there too. But I think
I'm
he's,
just such a big fan of Daniel. I mean, just such a good person. I love him so much. Okay.
and on a Saturday he goes and works on the technology and he's with his
Yeah,
kid
that's
and
why I'm
things
like I
like
see
that.
this potential so deeply in him.
Yeah, but I feel like he needed to be working and feeling like he has the root chakra for a guy. Like I feel like he doesn't have the financials. He was always feeling out of alignment, not enough, like all these feelings when he's working and he's getting like nice paycheck and he got really nice like salary here. And I mean he's catching up, but he's feeling like much more healthier because he has that like base chakra covered. Like it's interesting, but I see in real time how it's working. So uh, will he stay there forever? I mean, I don't know what the world's turning to. Neither do I, where I'm going to be. I think in my job, there's a little more flexibility and I can handle like this and that and everything. So, yeah, and this is the timeline. I mean, like I said, like this is where in ideal world, I wanted everything to like already right now being like building out the space and having the time and opening up in May, but we'll see. I'm still optimistic. Everything can happen, The technology itself should be coming like April, end of April. So if all is good, like if we have the whole months of May and hopefully like the space already doesn't need a lot of build out, then June 1st is possible. So, yep, that's kind of where it is. So hopefully this is helpful. I'll stop sharing.
Cool. So what I'm getting from you, Diana, from your share,
Diana.
it's Diana.
It just
Sorry.
keeps going,
It's okay.
Diana. It just keeps going.
Diana, is that first and foremost, what's really important is a brand strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of people